Let me see where I want to keep this. I mean, I'm talking permanently. Okay. Okay, there we go. No retakes. Alright. Hopefully you can see me. Hopefully the music stand is in a good enough position. It feels a little bit over to the side. How do I want to do this so that I don't have to move this music stand around every time I want to do a video? What if this is okay? This is fine. This is fine right here. Guess what? This is where it's gonna stay. I just have my papers here. So all I want to do is I just want to make sure this is tight enough, and then I'll just, again, I think that that's fine. Okay, there we go. You know, just little adjustments that have to be done in order to make something believable. But it is believable. Alright, so welcome to the first daily announcement video. This is how the announcements will be done from now on. And the reason why I'm doing this is because it's something that I used to do. However, there have been a couple of days, I can count the days. August 29th, 2021 was one of the days. The second day that I can remember would be August 13th, 2022. Both of those 2 days have one thing in common. I have compulsively deleted so many videos that I have done in the past. So many mentioned meetings, so many announcements. All of those have just gotten deleted. And plus, during, May of 2022, I could have transferred stuff over. However, I didn't feel good about my computer at the time, and I also had COVID, so let's just have that as a long-running excuse. What a fun Mercury retrograde that was. Not. May was not an easy month for a lot of people out there. Pretty darn bumpy. And so I feel the regret from deleting so many videos. I really do. But I also know, and I've said this a million times, and it's super cliche, that I have no power over what has been in the past. I cannot change the past. I cannot go back. And I can't re-see those videos again. I can't cook up a spell or snap my fingers or try to find a way to get those back because they're gone. However, I can change the present, and the reality is, I'm going to take it back to how it used to be, how I used to do things. I'm going to do that because I want to do it, I'm inspired to do it, and I also want to make up for all those videos that I've compulsively deleted. Now, those reasons may change over time. I may say one thing, I may say another thing. But yeah, I'm going to give myself permission. So, today is February 5th. We have a full moon in Leo today. The sun in Aquarius and moon in Leo are opposing. The moon in Leo is about really being yourself, giving yourself permission to be creative and to do what you're passionate about, to show something off, to be proud of something in your own way. And the sun in Aquarius is about your group, bettering humanity, collaboration, and the mind. So balancing the mind with the heart is that polarity. And there's other aspects going on with the full moon. I do have a live stream on my YouTube channel that you can watch about the full moon in Leo that is occurring today. And there's also something that I want to get to with that. So that's one of the announcements that I have. So I'm just going to go in order off of my list here. Okay, because I have a list of stuff. I'm really organized. I'm more organized than I was in the past, let me tell you. So I sort of gave away how I'm doing this. Oh well, that's how it is. Alright, so, we're going to now look at comma splices in fused sentences and what that's all about. And I'm probably guilty of doing it. I probably still do it even though I know what those things are about. I probably won't take this exactly to heart and apply it 100%, but it is a good idea to be aware of. So, I'm going to show you what that is all about. So this is sort of a video version of an Amendment meeting here. Alright. Now I'm going to show you some examples of comma splices and fused sentences here. And show you what I'm talking about. You know, I have a feeling that the setup right now is not going to be conducive. It's both ends. Like, I like moving things around, but then again, I just kind of like a setup to be in place. So excuse me if I'm a little bit natural, authentic here, when I try to figure out what I want to do here. This is not manageable because it's right next to the door. So if I'm going to do this, there has to be a setup that I can sort of stick to make this work. That's probably, let's see, what do I want to do here? Let's actually scooch this over here. This is sort of a cheaper way of doing this so you can see, that you can get, I hope that you can see that, I really do. Whoa, 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 whoa. Can you see that now? Hopefully. You know, actually, let me get the light on here so you can see what. Oh, this thing doesn't like perfection. But I'm embracing just what's natural. Okay, so can you see that? Can you see that what I'm looking at here? So I'm looking at the board, so hopefully you can see what I'm looking at here. So I'm going to show you an example or two of what I'm talking about. So, comma splices and fused sentences. An example of comma splice, as it says in this book that I'm using, it's a composition book. It is what I'm using for my class with Jessa, and there's just a section in here about comma splices. And so an example is we have, it says, he dropped the bucket, the paint spilled on his feet. So, the example would look something like this, if I'm getting it right. He dropped this is going to take too much time, so I'll just write it out so that you can see. Okay, so I hope that you can see this. I'll probably need to bring the phone over so that I can show you, because I don't know if you can see what I'm looking at here. I don't think you can. I wouldn't. So, look here. Hope that you're seeing what I'm seeing. The sentence. He dropped the bucket, comma, the paint spilled on his feet. Now, I may not have the nicest handwriting in the world, but the point being is that there's two sentences kind of put into one sentence. He dropped the bucket, the paint spilled on his feet. So that's an example of a comma splice. Now, I'm just sort of going to jump a little bit forward here. A way of correcting this would be putting and, or just a filler word, right next to the comma to make that a complete sentence and to make it grammatically correct. So when you see a sentence like this in writing, if you can see what I'm looking at, maybe it's a little bit cut off, maybe I'm filming just a part of it. I hope that you can see that now. I'm doing the best I can. See that sentence? So he dropped the bucket, comma, the paint spilled on his feet. And if you can't see it properly, hopefully what I'm saying is making up for that. And also, the main thing is you would need an and right next to the comma to make that grammatically correct and to fix that error. So that's one error that is made. And let's do something a little bit different. This is from the book, just to be totally honest. He dropped the bucket. Let's just get rid of the comma. Let's just get, so I'm removing the comma from that part of the sentence. Now we have a run-on sentence. He dropped the bucket, the paint spilled on his feet. Like, you can hear how that's not correct. You can hear how it doesn't make sense. And there's no comma, there's no and in that particular sentence. And a lot of it depends on the sentence itself. You're probably not seeing what I'm seeing. I am. Camera over another direction. Good gracious. This technology, that technological world that we live in today. So, I'm going to have to show you again. So, he dropped the bucket, the paint spilled on his feet. So, can you see any comma there? I don't see any comma. This is a run-on sentence. He dropped the bucket. See how this one subject matter? So, in a sentence, you would have a subject matter, which is the bucket, and a verb or action. Well, probably not every sentence. But there's a, I don't know. But, anyway, so we have a subject, which is bucket, and then the verb, which is the action that person does, is dropped here. He dropped the bucket. So that's one sentence in and of itself, but it's sort of put together with another sentence. The paint spilled on his feet. So this is sort of the verb, sort of not what the person's doing, but you see the subject matter, and then another subject matter, paint and then feet, are sort of the nouns in the sentence, and then the verb is spilled here, as you can see. So these two sentences are put together in one. And as you can tell by how I was speaking about it, and as you can see, it's sort of a run-on sentence. Now, we're going to get into how to fix this error. And it's probably just going to be me repeating myself again. So, just sort of forewarned about that. So comma splice occurs when two or more independent clauses follow one another with only a comma between them. These two, he dropped the bucket and the paint spilled on his feet, those would be examples of independent clauses. You're not even seeing the board. So I hope that you saw that and took that information in. So we have two clauses that are independent. And then we have a comma. We're going back now to the comma splice. So we have a comma right after the bucket. I chose a blue marker this time. No and, no nothing. And we have one clause. We have one. So this would be an example of a clause with a subject and then a verb. This would be an example of a clause. So this is clause 1, he dropped the bucket. Clause 2 would be the paint spilled on his feet. So we have the subject matters, two of them, and then the verb, spilled. So those are the two clauses that we're talking about. The two separate categories put and compounded into one. And then we already looked at a few sentences, and technically that occurs when two or more independent clauses follow one another with no punctuation in between. Again, that kind of like the run-on sentence. Now it talks about editing this issue, so let's not just end the story without finishing it. So editing comma splices via sentences. So there are several ways to do this. So when it comes to editing a comma splice, I mean, there's several ways as long as it's grammatically correct. You see, we have. I'm gonna have to do something here. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous why I should have to show you. I have to bring the phone over every time I want to show something at the board. So I'll make a mental note that maybe I'll have to consider something or do something different. But one of the ways we could fix this is we could can I flip the maybe there's a way to no, I don't. Well, maybe there. Oh, that took a picture. Okay, well, you can take a picture while you're filming. That's great. Of all the times I've made videos, I never noticed that you could do anything like that. That's super neat. So you see, actually, there is a period there. What do you know? So this is one way to fix it. We have one sentence, one subject matter. He dropped the bucket, period. Then another sentence. Let's just capitalize T for the. I'm using another marker, but that's fine. So he dropped the bucket, period. The paint spilled on his feet, period. These are two sentences separately. So that's one way to fix the issue. Let's see, what else does it talk about here? It says, as an example, the two intentional comma slices. Okay, well, that's good to know. The school board debated an issue for 3 days, but they were unable to reach an argument. So fixing a comma splice basically be like putting an and or but next to the comma, or anything that would make sense to, grammatically correct, depends upon the nature of the sentence. So if we have a sentence, like it says here, the school board debated the issue for 3 days, that's a positive. But we're talking about the reverse of a positive, which is a negative. But they were unable to reach an agreement. And the same can happen in a sentence when we have a negative to start the sentence, comma, but this was what was positive about it. This is something else that's positive. So it just depends on the sentence, but and or but, two common words after that comma. And then it gets kind of involved in here with the semicolon. So if the relationship between the two clauses is clear with the coordinating conjunction, you can simply join them with the semicolon. Psychologists study individuals' behavior, semicolon. Sociologists focus on group level dynamics. So you would have if I'm getting this correct, so he dropped the bucket. After the bucket, I'm putting a semicolon. He dropped the bucket, semicolon, the paint spilled on his feet. I'm kind of questioning that. But one way to fix it would be putting a semicolon after the comma and putting, then you would put therefore some type of word and then fill in that sentence. Add a subordinating word to clarify the relationship between, that sort of gets a little, maybe it would make sense with the sentence that you're not seeing right now, but I'm looking at on the board, to say, sort of questioning this, because, putting the word because he dropped the bucket, the paint spilled on his feet. So that's sort of to explain the subordinating word for that sentence. So it clarifies the relationship between the two clauses. It just makes sense in that way. And then authors will occasionally put in intentional comma splices. Like it said, like the phrase "watery in June, corn be heavy soon," which is a quote from someone speaking, and that's a little bit different than writing. But that's an intentional comma splice, because there's no and, or there's no word or nothing to make sense of that right next to the comma, with the two parts of the sentences sort of put together, So if you have, am I going to have to explain this again? So an intentional, something that authors would write, and this is in The Lottery. If you've ever read the short story of The Lottery, then you probably are aware of this. This is just an example. Corn be heavy or corn be ready soon. I'll just put heavy. That's a strange sentence, it really is. But the point in all of that is, this would be another example. So you see Lottery in June as the first sort of example here, and then the comma, no other word, and then the other clause with the subject and verb, which is corn be heavy soon. So occasionally authors will put in that in their writing work, but it's not too often they do it intentionally, and they have the right and the license to do that. Maybe they do. I can't find my Kleenex. There it is. Okay. So that is just a little mini lesson on clauses, and on comma places. So it talks about Marian Hayes, repentant leisure, and academic writing. Talks about academic writing because the book is geared for college writing. It would be seen as a mistake, but not to get too into that, because that doesn't apply to you. Writers sometimes don't use only a comma between clauses that are very brief or closely parallel in structure. Lottery in June, corn be heavy soon. Those two clauses are really similar to each other in length anyway. So that's another thing to add. They're very brief. They're not long, too long. Both of them are equally short in terms of structure. So, is it a proverb? It is a proverb. The Lottery in June, corn be heavy or ready soon, is a proverb. That's what it would be called. So that's a little sort of break from other stuff. I did sort of plan to do this in this video, and so I did it. So, we're checking that off the list. Now, the next thing I want to get to is I've done all that. There is going to be an Aquarius Clubus meeting. This will be meeting tomorrow, February 6th at 1:30 p.m. Mark your calendars. It will be in this room. And in that meeting, we'll be discussing, and I'll be going through the section on Aquarius as a child and that particular content of Aquarius children, how they need to be nurtured, how they are in nature, and there'll be sort of a writing about sort of an Aquarius, an experience in your childhood that sort of, followed under the content that we read about Aquarius as a child and how you can relate that to your own childhood and your experience. So there'll be that writing, and I'll explain what that's all about tomorrow for those who want to attend that meeting. Again, I keep saying this over and over again. If you want to be in the meetings, then you do not have to come to every meeting. But if you're coming, I highly recommend that you read the section beforehand and that you see the emails. Check your email, because I will send an email about what will be going on for that particular meeting. And it's a club, sort of club, but then it's a class too. So it's sort of a blend between those. Past videos is another thing. I am uploading I have past astrology videos that I'm putting in a playlist, so you can go check that out. And I am currently working on uploading past archive videos from 2020 and the years previous of mentioned meetings and videos of me. So once I get all those videos uploaded, I will send a really huge email putting all the links to those videos, and I'll put them all over my page on a certain tab of past videos, so you can go check it out on my mentioned page. And yeah, they'll all be available for you to watch and reflect on, and get to see again. So that's going on. Now, the next thing is what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to clean up past karma, meaning I'm trying to finish the books that I have not finished over many years of not finishing books. And one of those books is Where the Red Fern Grows, and right now I'm sitting down at the desk recording a video of me reading the PDF version of Where the Red Fern Grows, and I'm doing it chapter by chapter. Maybe I read a chapter in one video, I read 2 chapters in another, and that goes on with Where the Red Fern Grows, of what I'm doing right now. And then when I'm done reading the chapter out loud and recording the video, I upload it to one of my accounts. So what will be happening is that I'm going to say that by February 9, all of you should have, I want to say, at least the first 2 chapters read of Where the Red Fern Grows by Wilson Rawls. So, I am going to, there's a PDF, but I have to see when those books are going to get delivered. I did order them a couple of days ago. They should be coming here tomorrow, actually. Well, wait. Okay. Well, I'm going to push that to the 11th of February. So by the end of the day on the 11th of February, you should have read chapters 1 and 2 of Where the Red Fern Grows. Yeah. I said what I said. February 11th, by the end of the day, read those chapters, and then, yeah. So, but, and those books will get here. You'll get to get a copy of the book And you will read it, and you know what? I'm just gonna move on, and I'm just gonna edit this section of the video out. Alright, full moon video and email is the next thing. So today is the full moon in Leo. And so what I want you to do is watch a video about the full moon, or an article online about the full moon. Probably one of the sources I use for my live stream video, but anyway. And then when you're done, I do want you to email me the video. So, so send me the link. Tell me what you liked about it, what you thought of the video or article, and then something new, or what you remember from it, what you learned from it. And so that's basically what it's asking. So, what do you remember, and what have you learned from that article or video? So those are the questions. I have those instructions laid out on my page for you to watch under. I just have a little tab, Full Moon Leo, and it's basically just I put the link to the live stream and then the email assignment, down below those instructions. You'll find it there on my page. Now, the next really big thing is a global hot button issue assignment. So what this is going to be, what this is going to entail is for Aquarius season, it'll be due the 28th. I would start getting working on that now, and I may extend that due date out. But what you'll do is you will take an issue going on in society today, and you'll go online and research it, maybe watch videos, but maybe read articles, and go to the library and get a book about it, read about it, research, take notes, and have research about it. And then you'll be doing a pamphlet about where you're giving the information about how is this a problem in society today, and then what are the solutions to fixing it. What are the solutions to fixing this issue? So, you'll have a document with, all of your research, and then you'll have, you'll need a works cited page with all your sources in MLA format. You can go to Purdue OWL, they have a site. You go to Research and Citation, go under Electronic Sources, and you'll find that information there, and just follow the instructions to cite those sources. You'll have a research document, and then you'll have another document, which is your online pamphlet that you'll fill in and put, type out. There'll be a section where you'll type out the problems of how is this an issue, and giving the information about it, some pictures that you'll put in, and then you'll also